Well, what can you really say? This unbeaten run just keeps going from a Bristol City perspective. We went into this block of fixtures expecting that any sort of form going into it, momentum will hopefully be carried into it, and maybe we could sneak a few points. Really looking really competitive in all of these games, and completely blew Preston out of the water here. And yeah, another win, 3-1 at Deepdale this afternoon in a convincing Bristol City performance in a manner which was quite similar to Middlesbrough in a lot of ways. Carried a little bit more attacking impetus going compared to that Borough game, but showed a lot of defensive acumen and quality in McNally and Viner and Dickey, who was back into the starting 11 after injury. All helped in what was, again, a pretty turbulent match, a bit of a stop-start game, very gritty game, very championship football in a lot of ways, but one ultimately Bristol have come out on top, and at the moment looking, as I said, really good, and the style of play that Liam Manning has wanted to implement and a lot of fans, including me, has wanted to see, it's really coming through, and what a crucial 3 points that might be, and it feels like a big win as well. I think that's a fourth win season from Bristol's perspective, which just goes to show now that we're in now we're in a good position in the league table, eighth as it stands. It really shows that we've got some quality about this group and got some real resilience and real character as well. This was the Bristol City starting 11. It was Max Leary in goal. It was a back three of Zach Viner initially, Luke McNally and Rob Dickey. It was George Tanner at right wing back with Mark Sykes as the left wing back. Obviously no Russ McCrory because he went off injured against Leeds United. In midfield, it was Jason Knight and Joe Williams, Max Bird and Hugh Hirakawa off Naki Wells, it felt like, for a decent portion of the game. And, to be honest, pretty much all of them, including especially the substitutes who came on, absolutely outstanding. We take the lead on minute 6, and you've got to hand it to Yu Hirakawa. The awareness is absolutely brilliant. It's a handball, isn't it? It's blatant cheating from Yu Hirakawa, and I love him, and I think he's fantastic. And again, he's a real threat, even despite that. But it is completely, you cannot do that. Like, it's not acceptable. And luckily for him, from his perspective, the referee doesn't see it, and he then takes it round Woodman with a little punch of the ball, and Woodman, well, yeah, he's not catching up, and Hirakawa is 2-on-1 with Naki Wells, but he just kind of pokes it into the empty net. So yeah, it's really, really bad. I'm sure Pecking Bottom will look at the kind of defending initially with Jordan Story not clearing the ball properly, and the header kind of doesn't have any pace on it back to Freddie Woodman. But yeah, it's unacceptable from Hirakawa. So from there on, it kind of felt like, okay, can we take advantage of that? A bit of luck has gone our way. A lot of luck has gone our way. So can we go and take advantage and really capitalise? The game was very stop-start. There's a lot of kind of stoppages, a lot of injuries, and ultimately 2 injuries that just couldn't be run off from a Bristol City perspective. The first coming in the form of George Tanner, and it's just piling on the misery from a defensive perspective. Rob Dickey comes back, Hayden Roberts comes back into the starting 11. Sorry, not into the starting 11, into the squad, and actually comes on the pitch in place of George Tanner. But then George Tanner goes off injured, so it's a bit like we really want all of our centre backs, not defenders, really available at all times, because we have got a pretty decent defensive unit when they're all available. And then that was on minute 23. On minute 34, Joe Williams goes off injured in place of and Marcus McGuane comes on in place of Joe Williams. And I was a little bit surprised Marcus McGuane didn't start, actually, because I thought he was relatively decent against Leeds and actually had a very good game against top opposition and a really tough midfield to come up against. So him coming on, in the grand scheme of things, didn't really affect things, and quite frankly, his running power and his ability and his dynamism, athleticism, Marcus McGuane, is absolutely outstanding and actually helped us in this game quite a lot. Joe Williams was good for the period he was on, for the 34 minutes he was on, but yeah, it felt like once Marcus McGuane came on, he had a little bit of a different dimension, and we reverted to that and allowed him to kind of be involved in a lot of things, and that really helped us, and yeah, ultimately led to a really good away performance. And yeah, again, Joe Williams, hopefully it's not too serious, because it didn't look too serious. And yeah, same with George Tanner, they both walked off the pitch fine, but again, they're just hoping it's not anything too bad. Both of them actually were struggling before they actually went off, and there's a couple of stoppages in play just for them individually. So disappointing to see them both go off, and hopefully it's not too long term and a matter of weeks rather than months. We just go into half time, 6 minutes of out time in the end of the first half. Again, a lot of stoppages, very stop start, no rhythm into the game at all. And then start the second half, you'd expect Preston to come out, kind of firing, and Heckingbottom would have got into them at half time. And, they're the home side, they're 1-0 down, they want to come out Bristol City. And it's just really sloppy from our perspective. We kind of let them have the ball for a little bit. They put an aimless long ball up top, and I think it's Frockyar and Frockyar Jansen just kind of stands there a little bit, going stooping header, and then McNally kind of comes in and takes him out, expecting obviously Frockyar to kind of jump in with him, but obviously Frockyar doesn't do that, and it's a little bit unfortunate from McNally, and honestly, it's a free kick. It's really harsh, but Sam Greenwood, who's got a good free kick on him, puts it into the back of the net with kind of, again, I think it was Frockyar again, actually, kind of in between the gap, just on the left-hand side of the wall. And, is that an area Max should be covering? Maybe, but it's a good free kick, to be fair. It's right in the bottom corner. And at that point, you're going, right, okay, see this period out, because Preston will put pressure on us. Actually, didn't need to do that, because 3 minutes later, 51, Mark Sykes gets the ball on the right-hand side after some really good play, and then you're thinking, okay, can he pick a ball out in the box here? And it's got to be the perfect ball, because I think Naki Wells is the only person in the box from a Bristol City perspective, so it's got to be the perfect ball, and it was the perfect ball, and Naki Wells glancing header past Freddie Woodman, and at that point, 2-1 up, you're going, okay, fantastic, we're now back in the lead. Can we see this game out? And, we've had a lot of change and a lot of turbulence in that first half. We've changed shape with Zach Viner going to right back, McNally and Dickey being the centre backs, and they've never played together. And Payne Roberts, obviously, who's not played in a while, at left back, and kind of a reconfiguration of things all over the pitch, really. Mark Sykes then moving from left wing back to start the game into the right wing, where he was incredible for that second half, absolutely outstanding. So that ball for Naki Wells was absolutely sublime, and, that's what Mark Sykes can do, but he just needs a little bit more consistency. But that was a much better performance from him, and definitely the best we've seen from him this season for sure. And then after that, again, a bit of a kind of stop-starty game. No team really got into any sort of rhythm. Bristol tried to keep hold of the ball, pressing every time they got it. They were kind of keeping it with McCann and Whiteman, and not really doing too much with it. It always kind of felt like they reverted to, okay, let's give it to Frockyar Jansen and Greenwood, and let's see what they can do with it. And maybe if we can put a good ball in the box, Emil Rees might be there. But it kind of felt like not really a game where any team was going to get much control of it. But then we have a throw-in on the right-hand side. It's taken, I think, by Mark Sykes, and it's played in a little block, and Knight gives it to Bird. Bird then goes inside to Hirakawa. Hirakawa, absolutely unreal. Hirakawa, absolutely brilliant. He was comfortably man of the match, despite that, hand of God moment. But the back heel back to Bird is just sublime, and it's up there with that goal against Millwall, actually, for goal of the season from our perspective. An absolutely delicious goal. And Max Bird, who actually had a shot just before that from the edge of the box, which just went wide. This one, again, a similar kind of position, a similar kind of effort with his left foot, kind of just beautifully places it into that far right corner, and City 3-1 up. And that was on minute number 81, and with 9 minutes to go. I'm hoping that Bristol can see that out without too much kind of turbulence or any sort of pressure being put on Preston. That's enough to kind of let go of a 2-0 lead at that point. And just a magnificent away victory, 8 games unbeaten now, and Sheffield United are Ashton on Tuesday, and hoping that despite Sheffield United being a really good side, and they won 2-0 against Blackburn at Blackburn today, so it will be interesting to see how that goes. And obviously this injury crisis we're in the middle of, it'll be interesting to see how we are going to shape up, and how we're going to start that game as well. But yeah, what a performance, what a 3 points, everyone brilliant, and the way we just kind of got on with it, really, and despite Williams going off, who's been pretty good recently, and George Tanner going off, and Zach Viner, who's centre backs. It was the kind of first team on the team sheet recently, Zach Viner, past couple of years really. Him going to right back, kind of reconfiguring everything. still just absolutely magnificent from a Bristol City perspective, and to come away from a ground where typically, historically, we haven't been the best at. But I think it's now just 1 defeat in 8 against Preston in the recent past. So we're getting better against them. But yeah, a really promising run from a Bristol City perspective. Really promising. They were seeing some more kind of signs of what Liam Manning can actually, kind of implement in this squad. And we're looking really good, aren't we, at the moment? But that is it from Deepdale. It's under Preston North End 1, Bristol City 3. 8 games unbeaten for Liam Manning's Cider Army. And since his return to the dugout, first win as well for Bristol City. And things are looking really promising at Ashton Gate. We're back at Ashton Gate on Tuesday, and hopefully I'll be there for the visit of the Blades. See you then.